For years, being a Toronto Maple Leafs fan came with a certain comfort. No matter how disappointing a season ended, there was always tomorrow, always another year, another chance, another opportunity to believe this team was getting closer. And in many ways, that belief made sense. The players were young, the future looked bright, the best years seemed to be somewhat out on the horizon. But what happens when the future you've been waiting for becomes the present? What happens when the years start passing faster than the progress? And what happens when a franchise realizes that one thing it can never get back is time? Whether Leaf fans want to admit it or not, something is changing in Toronto. The Toronto Maple Leafs are no longer the team of tomorrow. They're the team of today. And after all these years, the most uncomfortable question facing this franchise is simple. If they're not ready now, when will they ever be? There was a time when patience came easy in Toronto because every season felt like a part of something bigger. Auston Matthews had arrived. William Nylander was developing. Mitch Marner looked like the hometown star the franchise had been waiting for. The Maple Leafs weren't talking about rebuilding, they were talking about the future. And that future looked incredible. Not because Toronto had won anything, but because it felt inevitable that they would. The window felt like it was never going to close, but when disappointments would come, they came with the same reassurances every time. They're still learning, they're still growing, and their time would come. But eventually something started to change. The years started adding up. One season became two, two became five, five became nearly a decade. And before anyone really noticed, the players who once represented the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs had become veterans of it. The conversation started changing. The questions started becoming uncomfortable. It was no longer about potential. It was no longer about patience. And it was definitely no longer about what this team might become. It was about what they already were and whether that would ever be enough. This era was supposed to be measured in championships, not questions. Instead, the questions only got bigger, the pressure only got heavier, and the answers became harder to find. Coaches came and went, management searched for solutions, new voices arrived, new ideas were introduced, yet the breakthrough remained just out of reach. And with every passing season, something became harder to ignore. The future Leaf fans have spent years waiting for had already arrived. This wasn't a young team finding its way anymore. This wasn't a franchise waiting for its window to open. This was the window, and that realization changed everything. The true reality set in. Change became unavoidable. The coach was fired. The general manager was fired. And one of the defining faces of this era walked away. Mitch Marner was no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf. Let's think about that for a moment. This era was built around the same core ideas, the same belief that success was just around the corner. But eventually, the search for answers forced change. And suddenly, the future looked very different than anyone imagined when this journey began. That's what time does. It changes plans, it changes expectations, and eventually, it forces organizations to confront reality, no matter how dark it may be. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been handed something they haven't had since 2016, the #1 overall pick. And according to reports, they have already informed Gavin McKenna during their interview at the NHL Combine that he will be their selection. The same franchise that once built its future around Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner has now been handed another player with the potential to shape the next decade of the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey club. He'll be arriving to a team led by Auston Matthews and William Nylander. This franchise is confronting the reality of what this era has become, while a new era may be about to begin. John Chaika, the Leafs' new GM, Matt Sundin has returned to help shape the future. And the biggest decision may still be ahead, as the Leafs' next head coach is still yet to be named. Despite everything that's changed, Auston Matthews is still here, William Nylander is still here, and Gavin McKenna is on the way. And perhaps most importantly, this team isn't beginning a rebuild. It's a team that may be only a few key pieces away from becoming a legitimate Stanley Cup contender once again. The last decade told one story, the next chapter hasn't been written yet. And after everything this franchise has learned, it finally has an opportunity to get it right. But now I want to hear from you, Leafs Nation. Are the Toronto Maple Leafs running out of time? Or are all these changes combined with the #1 overall pick, setting the stage for the greatest comeback story this franchise has seen in years? Let me know down in the comments because I'll be replying to everyone. And if you're wondering who should be standing behind the Maple Leafs bench next season, check out this video where I break down the 2 coaching candidates I believe make the most sense for Toronto. And if you enjoyed this video and want more Toronto Maple Leafs content, make sure to hit that like button, ring the bell so you know when new content drops, and of course, subscribe right here at Maple Leafs Corner. Thanks for watching.